And then we actually understand that in order to resolve, to reach a deep forgiveness, we actually have to teach our body to fully work through this fighting response. And in the practice of somatic experiencing, of working with trauma, we actually imagine what it would be like to fight this person back, or what it would be like to have a protector, to have someone with us who would have fought for us. Or we use our imagination and the feelings in the body to help our body re-experience. So sometimes the fight response is often in our arms, because that's where we would usually use this kind of movement of our hands, as opposed to the flight response, which will be more often in the legs of the running away. So we can often, when we have a need to resolve some kind of unresolved fight, we'll just let the body use its expression of the movement of the hands, and that will help the body imagine and feel what it would have been like to fight back. Sometimes it's not physical as much as it's verbal. What were the words I would have said? I would have told them to go, I would have told them stop, I would have said no, I would have said these words that I couldn't say at the moment, and imagining them, saying them, visualizing myself saying them is part of that solution. And what I found is that when we start to imagine and visualize this, and this is what I will invite us to do when we start in just in a few minutes the actual forgiveness process, it will be crucial to visualize and imagine and say what we didn't say, the fight that hasn't been able to been fought, needs to be completed. We have to say those words. We have to feel that movement in our hands, or imagine what it would be like if I punched that person back, or if I pushed them away, if I did the thing I needed to do. And when I imagine that, I let my body start to release that tension that it's holding on, right? Trauma is a very big word that we use for very big things. It's enough to have a disagreement that I felt threatened and that I couldn't respond, for it to be a small t trauma that stays in my body and I don't shake it off. That's that question. Why does it stay with me? Why couldn't I shake it off? Because something wasn't able to be resolved, and we need to go back. We need to finish that cycle. And to me, the feeling is, until we don't do that, the forgiveness is almost premature. It comes before it's ready, because our body is still holding on to a threat, to a need to protect ourselves. And when we're in need to protect ourselves is not the time to forgive. So once our body starts to feel that we've let go of that energy that we've needed for fighting, that's when forgiveness will almost come on its own, right? I almost don't feel like we need to try, because it's part of that completion, excuse me, of that cycle. Something doesn't need to fight anymore. I don't feel that vulnerability in the same way, because my body's released it. And something is so much more at ease, that I can look and see the person and see that they were wounded too, that they didn't mean to do what they did, that they were just doing their best. And then forgiveness just comes on its own, and it has no effort. It's very easy. And that's really important. When we try to forgive, when we decide to forgive, we're skipping such an important step of this incomplete fight response.